This time it's the turn of Windows 365. It's finally out there. How does it work? What does it do? And what do I really think? Greetings YouTubers, Andy Malone, Microsoft MVP, as well as a Microsoft certified trainer. Well, it finally happened. Yesterday, Microsoft released Windows 365, the next generation of cloud PC, as they called it. So what is it in it for you? Is it worth it? Is it worth the money? Andy, what do you really think about it? Well, what I thought I would do is I would do a little video on getting started. So I'm going to take it from both the business and the enterprise perspective. I'm going to give you some tips and advice during the setup. And at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and give you my own personal take on it, whether you should go for it. All right. So without further ado, if you've not subscribed, go ahead, click on that subscribe button, ring that bell, and you won't miss on any of the good stuff in the future. And as always, of course, I love your questions and your feedback. So please drop your comments and questions below. Okay. So without further ado, let's get to the demo and we'll come back and I'll give you my review of it. All right, so here we go. So I've just gone ahead and created my Windows 365 account, and I'm now logging on with my demo account here. Now, one of the things I will say is I've gone ahead and recorded this demo because sometimes when things provision, it takes a long time. And so this is the kind of the first thing that you'll see. It'll say, welcome to Windows 365. It'll walk you through what's included in your subscription. And obviously, one of the things you might want to do is you might want to try it out. And I'm often asked, Andy, can I change that subscription afterwards? Absolutely. So during the trial and indeed your full purchase period, you can upgrade, you can re-provision that virtual machine at any time that you like. And bearing in mind that it is a virtual machine as well. All right, so it's a real Azure virtual machine. The only difference is you're not billed for how often you leave the machine on. All right, so in this case, you can see I've got some shortcuts up at the top there, so I can go and have a look at managing my user accounts. If I want to get some help and so on, it will take me there. Now, a really good tip, by the way, is, well, first of all, you'll see that it's taking me to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Well, it will in a second anyway. And one of the first things that you want to do is, especially if you're on a trial, the credit card is set to auto renew. So definitely go into here and you want to change this setting so that your trial subscription, so it won't automatically bill your credit card, so that you'll get 2 months for free, so which is absolutely awesome. And that's quite a difference from the Microsoft 365 account. So I'm simply not going into the cancel subscription page here, but you see there's an option there at the top that says turn off reoccurring billing. Now this is awesome. Of course, if you decide after the 2 months that you still want to keep the VM, then of course you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that off. You'll get an associated email with that just to remind you that, hey, your subscription is going to expire, and if you wanted to renew it, that's fine. By doing that, you're not kind of left to forget that you're actually paying for it. All right, so once you've done that, you can see I'm now in the admin center, and this is kind of my main portal here. And you can see at the moment my cloud PC is still provisioning. Now, when I recorded this video, recorded the demo here, this was about 20 to 25 minutes of provisioning time. So obviously you didn't want to wait on YouTube for 25 minutes. So I've kind of cut it back a little bit, as you'll see. Now, I noticed couple of differences with the cloud PC version for small business. Microsoft manage everything. They manage the provisioning of it, the networking, everything. With the enterprise, however, it's quite different. So you are responsible for it. So Microsoft provisioned the virtual machine, but you are responsible for the networking component. And just bearing in mind that it actually does require it requires an on-premises environment. So certainly for things like Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, and so on. The networking, it requires that. Now, as you can see here, one of the things you can also do, and I found this really useful, is you can go ahead and you can download the remote desktop app. And that's definitely one of the first things that you should do. So this will just take you straight to your app store. And once you get to your app store, you can then just download that remote desktop app. It's free of charge. And there you go. So you simply go and click next, and the screen will then say, hey, once you've downloaded it, this is the really important link. This is the magic link that you need to do. So you simply just copy that link across. And once it's finished up installing, you then click into the workspace window there, and you just add it, and you just basically paste that link in, and you can see it automatically now detects my cloud PC. So I'll go ahead, click on OK, and now of course it will ask me if I want to log in. So I simply just put in my username and my password. So I'll go ahead and do that. So very, very familiar experience. Of course, you can also set up multi-factor authentication, and that's definitely something that you would definitely want to do. So once that's set up, you can see it's still provisioning at the moment. So that's the reason why I'm getting that little error message. So we'll come back to that in a second. So when I close that down, if I just go back to my 365 portal, and you can see that my PC is still provisioning. You see what I mean? It did take a long time. So I'm just going to refresh that a couple of times, and now it will actually come in and we'll get access to it. Now you'll notice as well the little gear icon just below my highlighted mouse area here. If you do have a problem with the PC, you can restart that PC, you can reset it, and so on. All right, so that is that. Okay. All right, just okay. So now you can see that my PC has now finished rendering. So I can now go over here. And I'm going to go ahead. Now, when I open this up, it says, hey, do you want to use the clipboard, the microphone, the printer? Do you want to use a file transfer, which is currently in beta? Again, just click OK. And again, this just takes a few moments. Again, you'll be required to log in. So I'll just go ahead and put my credentials in here. Okay. And there you go. So just cancel that window out. I actually just found that for me, the web connection was just a little bit sluggish. So you can see it seemed to have a couple of issues connecting. But then after a few minutes, everything seemed to be okay. Now, as well as the web interface, which was really nice, very, very clean. You'll notice, by the way, it comes in with a Windows 10 interface, but I'm led to believe that this is going to be updated to Windows 11 because, of course, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for that perpetual license that will give you consistent upgrades. So now that I've logged in here, of course, one thing that I will say, of course, is it doesn't include any Microsoft 365 subscriptions. So if you want things like Office and stuff, you'll need to have those licenses as well. Now, you'll notice here that my keyboard wasn't working. So by default, what I need to do is switch that keyboard on. And strangely enough, as I searched through the list of keyboards, the English keyboard wasn't available. So I then went to click on others. And I think this is probably just some kind of provisioning issue here. All right. So once you've set that up, again, the next thing you might want to do is you might want to think, hey, let's go ahead and try that remote desktop app and let's see if that works. And I honestly found this really responsive, actually. So you can see I can go into the remote desktop and very, very quickly I can go in, put my username and password in. You can save the password. Again, you can do multi-factor authentication. That can be set up, and right away you can see I'm now into my machine. It's offering me an upgrade to Teams. I'm just going to close that down for a second. Okay, and you can see I've now got my beautiful Windows 10 desktop. Really, in the RDP, the remote desktop interface, it's very, very fast, very slick. And remember, this is just a fairly low-end machine. This is just an 8 gigabyte machine with dual processors. I'm going to go into, let's say, I'll go into Edge. So the Edge browser. Now, again, I found browsing on the internet very fast, very slick. Let's just give it a chance to open up. You can see that all the these are the desktop versions of the apps are here. So again, like all the new versions of Office Professional Plus, it does require that subscription. Now, again, if you don't have a subscription, you can still use these free of charge, but they will have basically read-only access. All right. So as well as all the apps and accessories that you have, as I said, you've also got the Edge browser here. So I'm just going to sign in to that. And then it just takes a couple of minutes. Once it's set up, I can then go off and I can browse and so on. So I found the experience pretty good. If I just go in and do, let's say, bbc.co.uk, you can see I can now browse the internet very nicely, very fast. Okay. And if you want to disconnect from the connection, of course, I can simply just go to the Start menu and then I can click on Start and so on. So I found this experience really good to start with. What I'll need to do now is let's have a quick flick over to the enterprise experience and just show you the difference here, okay? Okay, so my second demo begins here in Microsoft 365, and you can see that this is an E5 portal. This is just a demo portal that I've got. You can see I've got a large number of users already in here. Okay, now one of the things that you can do if you've already got a portal and you want to try Microsoft 365, you can go to Purchase Services. And you can see that you've got Microsoft 365 here. I can click onto these licenses and I can go ahead and I can add these in. You can see I've gone ahead and you choose which licenses you want, and I can then start the free trial. Now, quick tip, if you don't get that option, because I've seen it on some tenants where you don't get that option, one of the things that you can do is if you just browse in your browser, open another tab and do Microsoft365.com, stay in the United States, it will then say, hey, do you want to here's the subscription, and again you can try it here and it will add it to your current subscription. So that's really nice. All right, so that's a really, really good tip, by the way. Okay. Okay, just so once you've done that, the next thing that you can do is if I'm going to go into the admin center here, and if I go into my users and into my active users, I'm going to scroll down and I have got a user here called Diego. And Diego is a valuable employee. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to click on licenses and apps. And as you can see, I can scroll down and I now have a number of cloud PCs that I can give to Diego. So I'm going to go ahead and assign him a license. Just to mention one thing, by the way, they have something called a hybrid discount. So Microsoft will give you, I think it's something like 16% discount if you already have Windows 10 licenses. So if you've got Windows 10 Pro or Windows 10 Enterprise, they will actually give you a discount. So during the sign up process, make sure that you click that checkbox. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign that license to Diego. Now, unfortunately, this is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky. So now I'm going to go into Endpoint Manager. And unfortunately, with the enterprise platform, so I showed you the business platform, but with the enterprise platform, if I go into devices here, as before, I've got Windows 365. So click into here and you'll now see one of the first things I need to do is I need an on-premises network connection. So I'll try provisioning a policy to give Diego access to that machine, and you can see I can't. So it needs to be a hybrid solution. So just as a little word of warning for enterprise customers who are cloud only, just be aware of that. Okay. Again, I'm sure that there'll be other solutions. Now, just to show you, I mentioned the pricing plans and so on. I found this is a nice kind of table, and it just talks about the difference between the Windows 365 products and the Azure virtual machines. So the Azure virtual machines, you can see they're very, very similar. With the Windows 365 business, the control plane, everything is Microsoft managed, you see? So administrators have no access to the virtual machines, whereas in the Azure virtual machines, of course, you would have access to that. Now, one really important difference here, so with the 365 business, the networking component, Microsoft has managed all of this. So that's the reason when I went into that Microsoft 365 business portal, the machine was just provisioned, everything worked, and so on. But unfortunately, when you do it in the enterprise environment, everything is managed by the enterprise. So you need to have a hybrid solution there. So again, just be warned with that. There is some gotchas definitely with this. So there you have it, getting started with Windows 365. Well, Andy, what do you really think? Don't mince words. Okay, what I really think is that there are two things to learn here. There are two versions of 365. One version, the small business version, is just provisioned. All you need to do is essentially assign a license. The machine is completely managed by Microsoft, so there's not much that you can do in terms of configuration, which is fine, suits small business. The networking side of it, again, is great. It's all hosted in Azure, and again, you don't need to worry about it. The enterprise SKUs, on the other hand, the benefits are that you can manage them in Endpoint Manager, aka Microsoft Intune, and in Azure Active Directory. You can deploy the licenses. You can configure the configuration for your users, which again, many administrators love. things that I don't love the fact that it doesn't work unless you're in a hybrid scenario. So be very careful. Some of those enterprise SKUs require you to have an on-premises network. So if you're just in Azure AD and you've got an enterprise account, you're basically up the river, shall we say. All right. So you've got to be really, really careful which SKU you purchase. So again, before you click on that purchase button, go ahead and look at the prerequisites. Do a little bit of research first, I would say. All right. But as a platform, I love it. And I'm sure, again, that there will be some integration with Windows 365 and Microsoft 365. Costs-wise, it's very expensive. I think if you're paying a license for that virtual PC as well as a Microsoft 365 license, that is going to be like £50, $60 per user per month. That's expensive. I think we will, in the not too distant future, see a combo deal coming out from Microsoft. I certainly hope so anyway. Anyway, I hope this first look gave you a look at it and a feel for what it is. I would love your comments and your questions down below as always. All right. And remember to go ahead, click on the like button if you've enjoyed this, and please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you on board. All right. I hope you found this useful, and thanks so much for coming by. And what can I say? I'll see you next time. You stay safe. Okay. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and click on the subscribe button and ring that bell and you won't miss a thing. See you next time.